Hi there, welcome to the kitchen at Westminster for another episode of Saving Time. This week I'm shaking things up. And I gotta tell you, this is my comfort zone on baking. I love to bake. Baking, you know what? I like eating baking. I just do. I've got a sweet tooth. And we're making chocolate cake tonight because sometimes you just need chocolate cake. I mean, it comes on me. I wake up and everything's going along smooth and then it's like, I'm gonna need some cake. So today we're making cake, and the best thing about this cake is sometimes you wake up and you go along and you think, today I'm gonna need some cake, and then you realize I've got no eggs. This is a no egg chocolate cake. Ah, win-win. There is no reason not to make this cake and eat it tonight. So let's get down to business. This is super easy cake. It makes an 8-inch square cake. I'm gonna do it in this takeaway container tonight because I'm going to give it to someone to take away. However, at home I like to do it in, I have like a Pyrex glass dish this size, an 8-inch square. Don't do the 9-inch, okay? Some baking pans are 9-inch. You want the 8-inch. If you go 9, it's not gonna rise as high for you. So, 8-inch square, make sure that's what you're using. And it's a beautiful chocolate cake. We're gonna make icing for it. It's the whole thing, okay? This is great. Now, just to be really clear though, because I wanna be really clear, this is an out of eggs cake. We're not going to add any eggs, but we're using mayonnaise. Mayonnaise has eggs in it. So it's not a cake that's good for people who are allergic to eggs. It's not eggless, it's just, I don't have any eggs. Okay, but there's a bit of a difference, but I just want to be clear in case you're on the hunt for an eggless cake. This isn't the one, but I have eggless recipes, so if you need them, message me. Send me a little note on the video and say, Margo, bring on the eggless cake recipes. I can help you out. I've got lots. Start preheating your oven to 350. For baking, your oven has to be a temperature, so the preheating is key. I mean, when we're cooking, you can fudge it a little bit. Baking needs to be at temperature or you're never going to get the rise, okay? So don't delay on that. 350 right now. Very few ingredients in this cake. Honestly, this is a working kitchen. I'm not like cooking meals every day, and I didn't have to buy anything. I had everything I needed already in the kitchen. I'm sure you do as well. No reason for you not to just embrace today's a good day for cake. Starting with some sugar. You need 1 cup of sugar. So grab your 1 cup measure. If you want to be fancy and take a knife across the top and level it off and be exact, you go right ahead, okay? I've done a lot of cakes. If we're a little over or under, it's not going to kill us. It's not going to kill the cake either, more importantly. 1 cup of sugar. And then we need 2 cups of flour. My flour bin is quite big, as we've talked about before, so I didn't try to carry it over there. I just left it here. So we'll go 1 and 2. This is just all-purpose flour. Honestly, I always buy all-purpose flour. I don't really bother with anything else. I just all-purpose. Just stick with that and you'll never go wrong. Salt. You need, what have we got here? I think I said a 1/4 teaspoon. So you're thinking like a pinch if you've got a little dish out. Just, a little. A little. Think about a teaspoon and then go a little. That's a teaspoon, right? Like, so it's a little bit. We're gonna go 2 teaspoons of baking soda. And 1, 2. I always keep, baking soda, you wanna keep some in your refrigerator and freezer because it's good for keeping odors in the fridge out and that kind of thing. But my baking soda, I always put in a container or something because those little boxes with the the tabs, really hard to measure from. So I always dump one that I keep for baking purposes like that. We've got flour, sugar, salt, soda. Now we need cocoa because we're making chocolate cake. And we're going to use just 2 tablespoons, okay? So again, don't get yourself too nervous about leveling things off. 2 tablespoons. You know what? Just because I just did that, I'm going to tell you something, and this is just a fun little aside and bonus, and it's not written down anywhere, but I'm going to tell you. The absolute best hot chocolate you can make, okay? Quit buying that crap in the envelopes. You can stop. Just don't do it anymore. Just free yourself from all these boxes that fill our cabinets in the kitchen, okay? All you need to do, you want 1 tablespoon of cocoa, 2 tablespoons of white sugar. Mix them together in your mug and put a tiny bit, maybe 2 tablespoons of milk in with that. Stir it around. You're gonna make like a thick syrup in the bottom of your mug. Now, heat up enough milk to fill your mug. Could be 1 cup, could be 1.5 cups, depends on the size of your mug. Heat your milk, stir it together. That's it. Beautiful hot chocolate. Don't buy that stuff in powdered envelopes anymore, okay? They're selling you this, but they're uppricing it, right? They're selling you a whole lot of little envelopes. That's just my little hot chocolate rant. But now you're thinking about making one, I know you are. That's it for dry ingredients. We've just done all of them. Next thing we're going to do is grab your whisk. I find cocoa often gets lumps in it, so just give things a little push around and try to get rid of any lumps, especially ones you can see. I mean, sometimes we can spot them. Cocoa and the baking soda too often get little lumpy bits in them. So just try to get rid of them now. It's easier to get rid of them at this point than it is once we add our liquid. It's harder to spot them then. There, good enough. Do that. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Next thing up, we've got, I put 1 cup of water in my 2-cup measure. Now get at least a 2-cup measure, because we're going to add 1 cup of mayonnaise to that. Now the thing about mayonnaise, this is my personal favorite brand, and I love it for its good mayonnaise, and additionally it's in a glass jar, which means I wash them up and use them for soups and all sorts of things. This is a great size for applesauce. You name it, you can freeze it in here. Tomato sauce, all of these things, okay? And it's a good buy. And as a matter of fact, I picked this up at Metro this week for $3.99. It's a great buy, it's good mayonnaise. Be careful, do not use, and I'm not dissing Miracle Whip, but Miracle Whip is not mayonnaise, it's salad dressing. And it will not taste the same in the cake. You need mayonnaise, not salad dressing, okay? So, mayonnaise it is. We need 1 cup of mayonnaise, so that means, and here's some science lessons if you've got kids cooking in the kitchen, let them do it. It's displacement, right? When I bring my water level to the 2-cup measure, I'll know I've added 1 cup of mayonnaise. Okay? It works. And like I say, if you let your kids do it, then you can tell them about displacement and all of that. So we're coming up on it here. And I think we're just about at that 2-cup line. Probably need just a little bit more. There we go. See how that works? And now I know I've got a cup of mayonnaise in there. And I was going to mix them together anyway. Now, if you can do this with butter and stuff like that, like if you've got butter in a bowl or whatever you might do, or if you were measuring peanut butter, if you put water in the measuring cup first and then add, you'll know when you get to the right amount because your water level will go there. And then if you're not using the water, you can drain it off. Just blend them a bit. We can blend them a bit here, and then we're going to stir it all together in the big bowl. And then hopefully your oven is just about ready, because this is just about ready. I think in my recipe I say add the dry to the wet, but then I like just to mix this in here because I hate doing dishes. Just strange for someone who cooks as much as I do, but you know, I'm being honest. I'm going to call that good enough. Dump it in. Now, having done what we've just done and seeing how easy it is, why is anybody buying those mixes in a box, right? Cake mixes, or like why? Really? Look, this was not hard, and we've got like what? 1, 2, 3, like 4 dirty dishes. Big deal. You would have had to measure stuff anyway if you'd used the cake mix. So, look at this. We've just made a chocolate cake, and we didn't have any eggs. Haha. I love it. And you know what else is great about this cake? It's going to be in the oven for 30 minutes, and that's not hardly any time at all. While it's in the oven, we can do dishes, do whatever you want to do, and then we'll get ready to to make our icing when it comes out of the oven while it's cooling. And this, I mean, if you had a cake emergency, somebody's coming over and you need a cake, I mean, it happens. What am I gonna do? I've got people coming over and I've got nothing for dessert. This cake, enter chocolate cake. I don't even need any eggs, enter cake. This is a great cake for any occasion. Absolutely delicious. Give it a real good stir. And again, I say it all the time, if you want to get out all the little machines that you have and you want to give it a little jolt with your hand mixer or whatever, you go right ahead. I'm happy just with the spoon. It's good enough. You don't need to worry. Butter your cake pan. On this one, I just frost it right in the pan, so don't bother about putting parchment in, because then you can't serve it straight from the pan. Well, you'd be serving people parchment paper. That wouldn't be very nice. So don't do that. Save yourself that trouble. I have a spatula here, so we'll get every last delicious bit of that out of there. And look at that. That's going to be great. That's going to be great. Good, 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 good. And again, let's not let me get too carried away with getting every last bit out of there, okay? We're getting this cake into the oven next. There. And Shannon has some company coming to visit her. So I'm gonna let her take this cake home. And you know, she can make weird jokes about if I'd known you were coming, I'd have baked a cake and all of that, all she wants to. Or she can skip that and just say, here, have cake. It's almost as if she was having a cake emergency she didn't know she was having. But we are averting her near cake emergency. There you go, you've got your cake in the pan, it's going in the oven. 350 for 30 minutes. There she goes, about the middle of your oven, okay? This is convection, so it doesn't matter so much, but in your oven, if it's an element oven, put it in the middle. Okay, I'm gonna wash up some dishes and I'll see you in 30 minutes. Okay, let's check our cake. It's actually been 35 minutes. I checked it at 30 minutes and my pick didn't come out clean. I'm gonna get all fogged up here, but. Oh, that's good. Pick's clean now, so it's good to come out. See my other oven mitt? I'm just gonna take the cake out and move it to a cooling rack. I need to be careful because foil pans sometimes are a little flimsy. There we go. Excuse me. And just let it sit on a cooling rack for at least 10 minutes. And then we're going to come back and make the icing. And if we have to speed cool it, we'll move it to the fridge. But let it cool on a rack for at least 10 minutes. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, let's get the icing ready. I still have the cake sitting there, and while we make the icing, we'll leave it there, and then I think we'll move it to the fridge to speed along the process. I put 1/4 cup of butter in here. I'm gonna add 1/4 cup of boiling water. I should have said when I was doing the water with the mayonnaise, and I'll say it here, feel free to switch out the water for either some black coffee or some black tea. I like chai tea with chocolate, and I often put chai tea in puddings and things like that. Or some coffee. If you just want to, especially if you've got some coffee that you don't think you're going to get drunk and it's sitting in the pot and you think, I wish I didn't have to throw it down the drain. Don't put it in the cake. Boiling water otherwise. You need just 1/4 cup. So that's barely anything. This one doesn't even mark 1/4. It goes straight to 1/2. I don't want to put this kettle on that stainless steel table. It'll make the table really hot. The boiling water is going to melt our butter. So just pour it over and just let it do its thing, okay? Just let that work away. You can help it a bit if you want, but mostly you're just gonna let it happen. And we're just gonna stir it along until it's melted through. We can measure other things at the same time. You're gonna need a teaspoon of vanilla extract. If you don't have any vanilla extract, consider, you could do anything really. I mean, if you've got some maple syrup, put a little shot of maple syrup in there. Think if you use coffee, go with the vanilla, okay? You don't want too many things competing. And we will need cocoa again. just 2 tablespoons, barely any at all. And not even, I'm sorry, no, 1/4 cup, 4 tablespoons. I kept the same tablespoon, I didn't wash it up. Why would I have? I was going to use it again. This is already almost there. You can see it's pretty much, we're gonna be able to beat that up easily. Give it a little stir. I'm sorry, that's a terrible sound. Yikes, I'm not gonna do it, it's too horrible. 1/4 cup of cocoa. So, if you're like me and you don't wanna get another measuring cup out, 4 tablespoons. 2, 3, and 4. And that's it. Easy peasy, right? Again, this icing, I gotta tell you something funny. This icing is in an old cookbook of mine. I don't really know for sure where I got the cookbook. I've had it a long time. And this is called Busy Day Cocoa Icing. Busy Day Cocoa Icing. Who isn't having a busy day? We're all having busy days. Every day's a busy day. So I'm not really sure why it's called that, except to highlight the fact that it's dead easy to make. I rarely get the mixer out, but if you want to, feel free. I usually find I can do a good enough job just with giving it a stir. If you really want your icing to be fluffy and light and all of that, then get your mixer out and give it a good whirl. But otherwise, if you have a handy rotary beater, the kind with the handle on that you rotate around, then for heaven's sakes, get that out. That's easy. I have one of those at home, and I kind of feel like I feel less like I've got an appliance out because I have to crank it. It's no less work in terms of washing up, but it feels like it. We're gonna use 2 cups of icing sugar. Just put 1 in at a time or you're gonna have a cloud. You don't need a cloud. No clouds. And just start slow. Start slow and just mix it in until it's all blended, and then we'll go with the 2nd cup. And just keep giving it a stir. I'll tell you, I'll be honest, sometimes with this cake I go 1.5 cup, or with this icing, I'll go 1.5 cups of icing sugar and I feel like it's fine. And other times I go the full 2 cups. So you can suit yourself, but you might want to measure at 1.5 and just have a peek and see, do I think it's as thick as I want it to be? We can go ahead and add the next one now. And this icing is just, I mean, come on, look at that. Look at how nice and dark and rich it's going to taste. If you have a bigger cake, just keep the ratio of what we're making here today and make more. Like if I've got a layer cake, I do double the amount, and that'll do the middle and the top. I very seldom ice the sides of the cake. It's not necessary. I do the middle and the top usually, and it looks nice. And I don't know. Growing up, everyone did the sides. I find it's a lot of icing on a piece of cake if you do the sides too. When you go to eat it, it feels like a lot. But you go ahead. But yes, if you double this, it'll do a layer cake very nicely. And just keep stirring. And by the same token, if you thought it was too thin and you want more icing sugar, similarly, if you thought this seems too thick, add a little bit more boiling water. And you can use the back of the spoon to gather up the bits that are on the sides. And just keep pushing around until you can't see any white anymore, right? We've got to know that it's fully blended. Look how nice and dark that is. Doesn't it look good? I kind of want it. I kind of want it. And there. No wonder this is called Busy Day Cocoa Icing, right? I mean, sorry, Shannon, it's hard to see, but I tip in because otherwise, you know, I'm all shoulder. Look at how nice and fluffy that is. And we didn't even get a mixer out, right? Look at that. See? And look, so what you want with icing consistency is you want to get a curlicue, right? You want to imagine on the top of the cake that you can get some swirls and make it look nice. And that's about where we're at now. Give it another good stir around. And then we're just going to cover that up. I'm going to check our cake. I imagine it'll need probably 10 minutes in the fridge. I'm just going to check from the bottom. Yeah, it's still really hot. I'm going to move it to the fridge, And as soon as it's cool, we'll come back. I'm looking at the clock right now. When we come back, I'll know how much time has passed and I'll let you know for your reference point. I'll see you soon. Okay, it's cool enough. It's a little bit warm because I kind of want to get it done. I kind of want to show you this cake. So, and our icing, just give it another good stir just to lighten it up. And again, you've got good, look at that, right? Nice. Kind of like, you know, like ice cream. And glob it on. I usually just try to spread it around a little bit, like put a spoonful in enough places that you're not going to have to drag it far anywhere. And then we'll get down to the business of really cleaning that out. And we can just do that, scrape it all off. You don't want to waste any of this beautiful icing. And give that. Now, mind you, nobody's going to know and nobody's going to judge if you left a little bit of icing on the spoon, say, and then you cleaned it up, because you've been working hard making cake. So you would be doing a disservice to everyone if you didn't give it a little taste test. Just drag it to the corners from the center out, and that's why I usually try to put a little bit around in globs like that, and then I don't have to drag it as far. Take it right to the edges if you can, and just once we get it all spread and around in an even way, then we can worry about making it gorgeous on the top. And get it nice and level. If you've got a nice long spatula and you want a smooth top, get a spatula as long as your cake pan is wide and just whoosh right across, and you'll get that perfectly smooth finish. I always like the little swirls. So just start swirling, okay? Just start just in S's and so on. Just start messing around. I like the way it looks when it's all like that. Some people like a smooth top. I always think that looks really like you've got to dive in. And I'm all about that. I want people to think I've got to get into that. See how pretty that looks? I want that to be perfect. And see what I mean about this? I'm going to do it on camera. I did it. I can't help myself. I had to do it. And now I'm going to clean up. Sorry, we made cake. I told you at the beginning that I'm all about cake. When have I ever done? I haven't done that on camera yet, like taste it like that. But see, I'm bad. I love cake. I love chocolate. Look at what we made. And we made this beautiful cake. Look at how nice it is. And we did, this is good. This could be a birthday cake, and we put it together in no time at all. Don't buy those box cakes. Look how easy this was. And we didn't even have any eggs. Look, you can imagine, it kind of breaks my heart. We made no compost today. We didn't need anything. This was strictly pantry. We used up some mayonnaise, not salad dressing, mayonnaise. We made this beautiful cake. And you could take that to someone's house as as your little hostess gift. You have a cake emergency, somebody's coming for dinner, cake emergency, sudden birthday, no plan. Pull this cake together, stick some candles in it, it's beautiful. Do not, don't swap out ingredients though. Use this. Shannon's laughing and I don't know why. I'm scared that it's because I've got icing on my face. No, she says that's not it, thank heavens. This cake, easy peasy. Please, if you enjoy the cake and you like the videos, please like the video, subscribe to the Westminster Orangeville channel, and hit the little bell for notifications. Share the recipe with people you know and want them to make cake. Keep watching. In the meantime, we're going to see you again next week. I'm going to give this, I'm not even kidding, I'm going to give this cake to Shannon tonight to take with her to share with her company who's coming later today. And they're going to enjoy it. She gets to share cake and be a good hostess. Everyone, take good care. I'll see you next week. In the meantime, bon appetit. Enjoy your dinner and quit letting food eat up your time and money.